first edition of BuccsReport for the 24-25 school year. And I'm here with Coach Austin Morgan. And Coach, we are up for a very exciting season. All the hard work these kids put in. And we will talk about all the work they did in the off season, but you have something really, really exciting that is going to happen on Midnight Hit. And we talked about it over the weekend. And can you kind of explain what you're going to do?
Yeah, we're really excited for it. So Midnight Hit is August 1st for us. First night we can full contact pads and all that stuff and hit full go. So this year we're trying to make it a little more big deal, get some more fans and kids out there. So we're starting around 10:30 when our actual practice starts, 10:30. But we're going to invite the community kids, anybody out around 9 o'clock. And do some combine stuff, some fun things with the kids, some punt, pass, kick stuff, some NFL combine drills. Get them out, get excited for the football season. We're going to have pedestrians rolling. We're going to be selling some t-shirts for our Midnight Hit. The cheerleaders are going to be out there helping out, running some stuff. So it's going to be kind of a major, a lot of stuff going on, or anybody can come out, hang out. You can have a festival of football, if you will, and kind of enjoy it. And then the one thing I'm really excited about this year we're doing, at 10:30 we call it a skull session. It's a team meeting, is really what it is. We go over our core values, some of our mission stuff, some leadership, some character development type deal, and we're going to invite the entire community that wants to come out to it to attend our skull session. So that takes place over in the weight room. If you don't know where it says, behind the school, behind the wrestling building. Which we have our team meetings and go through all of our our culture and stuff. So it's kind of really exciting and fun. They're engaging, and you kind of get to see behind the scenes of what really goes on in our team meetings. So that's at 10:30, and so everybody's invited to that. We'll hopefully be nice if we can pack that weight room up and get everybody in there. So if you have family, friends, adults, aunts, uncles, students, anybody can come to it, and that's at 10:30 in the weight room. So from about 9 to 10:30ish, we'll be out there by the stadium, going through some combine stuff, selling stuff out there, and then 10:30 we'll head up to the weight room and do our skull session.
Okay, this combine thing is really cool because you're offering this to all the kids. What was it? 3rd grade through 8th grade.
Yep.
And doesn't matter, boys, girls, whether they play Little Bucks football.
Yep.
It just if they want to come out and
this could be high school too. Any kid come out to this year and be a part of this. So we're gonna have a handful of different things. That way, if you're a smaller kid that's really fast, if you're a bigger kid, that's strong, there'll be stuff for everybody to do. And then we'll keep track of who scores. We'll have some winners and who can be the best combine kind of kid. So it can be for anybody. You don't need to be a football player to be part of it. You can be a non-player. You can be just a fan. If you want to come out and maybe see what football's all about, it's going to be fun for you. So, so that's kind of the deal, man. I think it's going to be fun. Hopefully we get a lot of people here. And then with our Midnight Hit, that's as it always is. We'll go out there, we'll go through practice, hopefully on the field by 11, get some drill work in, and then midnight we'll start hitting pads a little bit. And our goal this year is to have a live scrimmage too, a little white versus black squads, and go through that. So if you can come out there, have fun, play some football for a little bit, buy some snacks, buy a shirt, listen to a team meeting, and then watch some practice. So it should be a fun evening for all those that come.
Okay, for all the kids or all the people that want to come out and contribute in the combine, you're starting that at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, yes.
So they probably need to show up maybe 8:30 to say, okay, I want to. That way you guys can get them on the list and then organize it. Okay, so that's really cool. I mean, that's something that's never happened at Covington, and it's going to build the unity of the community. And that's kind of what you're trying to build there.
Yeah, and it's what I'm really happy for too is our cheerleaders. And congrats on those guys. They're going to come in and they're going to help do it. So it's cool kind of combining football and cheer and everybody in the community all together. So hopefully it's like you said, a unifying type of night. Get excited for football, see what the Bucks are all about, and have a fun time.
Well, and what the Bucks are all about, let's go into the off season. I haven't been there all the time. I've been there a few times, and I'm just so impressed at how hard these kids have worked and the amount of time they put in the off season. So can you kind of talk about that as a group?
Sure, yeah. So, well, first off, we kind of start when season ends and off-season lifting. So we have about 6 months, starting November up until June, of 6 a.m.s, 3 days a week, and we had great attendance this year. It's been awesome. Had a lot of kids showing up, and you can just tell that their bodies are stronger, they're a little faster, they look a little bigger. So that's been awesome having that huge lifting portion. So there's a lot of progress, a lot of growth there. In June, we started doing our camp days in June. So we've had, this week finishes up our last week camp. So we'll have practice tomorrow and then our overnight camp Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So by the end of the summer, we'll have about 18 practices in, and the growth has been amazing. I mean, last year we didn't lose too many kids, so we brought back a lot of our offense, a lot of our defense, and so they picked it up right away where they were at last year. And our growth has been awesome. We've had, it's been 4 7-on-7s now. And so you've seen a lot of growth of that. Atlanta Castle, the quarterback, has made huge strides as far as decision making, kind of taking ownership of the offense, reading everything. He's made a huge jump. There's a handful of guys that are just popping off everywhere that are, either our O-line has really shined really bright. We've had a lot of skill guys that have really shined really bright as well too. So, and in summertime it's hard sometimes too because it's 95 degrees out. It's hot out there. It's humid. They're running around for a couple hours and lifting before and after. And so the days are long, they're hard. Our kids have gotten way tougher through this time. They've become a closer knit unit. So we're really excited to see all that work put in, kind of getting us ready to start the season off.
Well, in your off-season training, it's not all about lifting and being a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You're making these kids better athletes.
Yeah.
With speed, agility, determination, loyalty, all that.
Yeah.
And it helps them in other sports too. If they're a multi-sport athlete, that's what's really impressive.
Yeah, our lifting program is, like you said, it's not the old school kind of meathead, bash against the wall kind of stuff. I mean, we do a lot of strength training in there, but there's a lot of plyometrics involved. We do some Olympic lifting, so a lot of explosiveness. We do a lot of stuff in the gym with change direction, agility type deal. A lot of plyometric box jumps, broad jumps, banded sprints, all sorts of different things. Because again, we're trying to make good football players, but also we're making good athletes. Because most of our kids play 2, if not 3 sports, and we lift year round. So it's not just a football thing. It's if you can be stronger, a little faster, a little more explosive in that first step. I don't care what sport you play, it's going to make a huge difference. So, and like you've seen it, all the kids have made a huge gains in that, and it's why we look the part right now a little bit this year. So.
And we're probably still the youngest team in the TRC.
Mm-hmm.
But we probably have the most kids coming back at a varsity level in the TRC. But if you look at the scrimmages, the 7-on-7 scrimmages, the first one we had was up at Anna, and we looked kind of like deer in the headlights. And Anna was loaded. The second time we had a scrimmage with Anna was almost like a week later.
2 days later.
Yeah, and it was like night and day. It was like, holy smokes, we look like a totally different football team. So can you just talk about the progression that these kids have made?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that's the thing for us, because we are kind of young, that's where that youth kind of consistency lacks sometimes. You can show up real well one day and maybe not show up the next day. So something we talk to our kids about is we gotta grow up real fast. That's like the youth. It's a thing, but it can't be an excuse for us. So if you're a sophomore, you gotta play like a junior. If you're a junior, you gotta play like a senior. Freshman, you gotta learn quick. You can jump in there real fast. So, which I love that idea because it makes our kids have to take more ownership, responsibility a little earlier. And look at last year, a lot of the freshmen that are now sophomores, they were just thrown to it and said, "You guys gotta grow up fast." And they did. And now this year they're way ahead of where they would have been if they were a typical freshman that didn't play much and just was kind of there. So the adversity, the hardships that they go through from last season, through the off-season lifting, through summer camp stuff, forced them to raise their standard a little bit and meet that level. And sometimes it's hard. It's not pretty all the time, but it works.
When the last 7-on-7 scrimmage we had. It was about a week ago. We had it against Graham, Tri-Village, and Waynesville Goshen. And we were pretty impressive in that scrimmage where we could have, if we wouldn't have dropped a few passes here and there in the end zone, we would have dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, we still won each one of the scrimmages, if I can remember right.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what these kids have been able to do.
Yeah, the level of execution, for the most part, was pretty good. Like, we just finished watching film this morning, and I mean, Landon Castle, our quarterback, had only 4 missed reads the entire scrimmage.
That's amazing.
Played 10, 12 games, whatever. And it made the right read. Not saying every ball was perfect, but like the ball was in the right spot where it should have been the majority of the time. So for the most part, our execution was really high. Some of that stuff that comes with time of chemistry, just more reps, catching the ball, kind of making plays and stuff there. That was a little bit lacking. But like you said, like we did win every game, but it wasn't up to our standard. You know, we preach all the time, surrender the outcome. It's not about the outcome, it's about the process you go through. So there was a lot of great things that we did on last Thursday, but there's also a lot of things that we need to improve. So we're not content just saying, hey, we beat some teams. It needs to be, forget the outcome. Well, what are the things that we need to improve on and focus on those things?
Well, one of the plays that kind of stood out to me is, I think it was against Tri-Village, and they threw a little pass out in the flat, and only 3 or 4 of the kids swung to the ball, and immediately the defense knew right away not everybody swung to the football, so they all did a bunch of push-ups.
Yeah.
And it's like they realized in their head, oh, we should have swung to the football.
Mm-hmm. So if you ever watch us, I love it. Our kids will do it in games too. One of our things is if you make a mistake, part taking ownership and having no excuses. Is said, like, if I make mistakes, I don't need a coach to come tell me. I mean, we will, but like you should be the first one to say, I screwed it up, and they need to do 2 push-ups. I guess that's one of our things, 2 push-ups. Well, they do the weight room all the time, but if a kid doesn't squat the right way, if he doesn't talk enough, I'll look around, see kids doing 2 push-ups, like, I should have done that. Well, we have practice, I'll look around, I'll see a corner who's doing 2 push-ups, and I'll have no idea what they did wrong, but they know they did something wrong. So you watch the game, it's kind of funny, well, you know, a linebacker will make a wrong read, and, you know, a big play bust out. You look back, he's doing 2 push-ups. He knew, like, that's me. And that just shows the level of ownership that our kids are taking in the program. And the amount of growth we've had over these last couple of years is because of kids doing those kind of things. You know, it's coaches who can push and push and push, but when teams really thrive and shine is when kids say, there's a certain standard that we're going to live by, and we choose that for ourselves. So, and they've done a really good job of that.
Okay, so here you are, you're starting to practice this week, getting ready for going to pads.
Mm-hmm.
So really the first game of the season is going to come around in a blink of an eye.
Oh yeah.
So what is your goal to get those kids ready for our first game against Arcanum at home?
Yeah, so a couple of things here. So our big one first is confidence. Like, because we are young, and they need to feel, because they put so much work in, and they have had a ton of growth. They need to feel and see that. So we need to make them have confidence, whether it be through putting them in situations at practices and scrimmages to make that, you know, show those things. So confidence is a big one. And then really now, because we have a lot of kids that are back this year, and there's always been competition for spots. In the last couple of years, we had roll low numbers where everybody played. That's not the case this year. There's going to be some kids that don't play as much as they want to. So kind of being able to get rid of the ego and say, I'm for the team, and I'm going to compete like crazy with you, but I also know I'm all for the team, right? Like, and my ego can't get in the way of those things. So really, ego is a big thing we can't get in the way of any problems. You know, compete, fight like crazy for your spot, get your reps. But if it's not what you want, keep working, but don't be an issue. You know, get the ego involved out of that, and then confidence. You know, our kids have to put the work in. They have seen a lot of growth. Now let's go show that on the field.
Okay, another thing is, you know, we're young at the varsity level. Our numbers have increased to varsity level, and also what we have coming up in junior high and youth.
Yeah.
What is obviously the numbers are increasing, and the interest is increasing, and that's evident because of how many kids showed up at the football camp.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. And can you talk about that football camp? What was impressive is how those kids all bought into learning the fundamentals that you guys were teaching.
Yeah.
You had very few kids that were off to the side goofing around and stuff. Now, granted, they had a lot of fun, but you could tell they were all focused on doing all those fundamentals. Can you talk about the football camp? That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to Covington, man. That's a community thing. I mean, those kids they're young, and so they're doing what their parents tell them to do, and they're how they're raised. And there's a bunch of awesome young boys running around here right now, and so I mean, we're kind of lucky a little bit in that case. But a lot of that's a community. So our high school kids are awesome too with that. Most of our players, high school players, come help run it, and they do the drills that we do at the high school level. Maybe a little simplified, but they're doing the same type of drills. And our high school kids do a great job of engaging with the kids, talking with the kids, kind of having fun with the kids, to make it a fun experience, but also a learning experience. So I would give a massive shout out to the community just for raising awesome kids, and our high school players for having a little bit of humility, a little bit of unselfishness to say, I'm here for you. What do you need? And I'm gonna make sure that you leave here having a great time and a great experience. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing that we've done. It's just like I said, the community and our high school kids are just great kids too. So.
Another thing that was really cool, especially for the younger kids, is they learned in those 3 days. You guys were implementing the culture, or explaining the culture that you've implemented at the high school level. And by the third day, all those little young kids understood the culture.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about that culture?
So our 5 core values are work tough, unselfish, humble, and loyal. And we have behaviors that are attached to those. Like for example, if you really believe in being tough, you show up by having great body language, having positive body language. If you believe in working really hard, you should show up by straining for 6 seconds and go really, really hard. If you believe in being loyal, you should show up for your guys. So we spend every day about 10 minutes at youth camp teaching our kids, here's our core values, here's what they look like, and here's how you do them on the football field, but also here's how you do them at home. When mom says take the trash out, you don't complain about it, you be unselfish and you make that decision to go do it. When you're in school and you got to show up for class and be there, that takes a little toughness to show up when you don't want to be there and listen and be focused. So it's a football thing, obviously, but if you really want to see that growth, you got to see it in all parts of your life. You can't just flip a switch on football and be a great person and then go home and flip the switch and be the opposite. So trying to teach the kids that these core values, they do make you better players, but they make you a better man in the long run. And it was cool. By then, every day we had to quiz them. They knew the core values, and by then, most all kids they're shouting out, they're yelling out, kind of talking about what they mean, what they look like. Because sometimes people will preach core values, but what does that mean? What does that value mean? What does it look like? If I'm a kid and I don't really understand that, it makes it go over my head. Versus, here's a specific example, that's toughness. Here's a specific example, that's unselfishness. And teaching the kids that, because that's something that, I love football, it's awesome, it's a great sport of all time, but it's also really cool to watch kids come through the program and grow as humans, and leave here and graduate and be great men. Like Derek Myers is an awesome example. We graduated last year. He's going to go out there in life, and he's going to have an amazing career, amazing family, and be a heck of a dude. That's cool to watch.
Brian Morrison,
yeah, it's watching those things come through. Like we can go pull the film and watch some football films, and that's fun too. But what's really cool is having a guy like Brian Morrison come back and coach because he wants to get back. Right? Those are the things that, to me, it's what it's all about. And helping these young kids hopefully get a little bit of foundation that way when they get to junior high and get coached a little more, and they get to high school and have that background. I think it goes a long way. I think.
Well, hey, the Covington Buccaneers have had an unbelievable offseason. And it's obvious that these kids are going to start taking the next step forward and keep getting better and better. And we got a lot of kids that'll be coming back next year because they're still young. So for Ben Robinson and Coach Morgan, good night.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.